while you were making contact with that person. So, and we've got Brenda back.
All right, and Scott.
Yeah, I drew a card too, and it was the Nicole Reed deck, the Enchanted Map. Let's see, it says coming apart, but it's reversed.
Keep reading. Keep reading.
Okay.
We'll tell you after
reverse,
the show.
Okay. A situation is unraveled, and your best plans are leading you into a tricky maze. Your challenge is to separate out the elements of this puzzle to get a better perspective on what happened. You may have lingered too long in a place where you didn't belong anymore, seduced by a temporary solution. As you untangle yourself, it is important to maintain a sense of humor. Don't fret, you will learn something valuable that you'll need later when faced with a more dangerous situation. Breathe and know that you are loved. Interesting.
That is very interesting. So what did you gather?
Okay, so I was going to say that reminds me of when I first started turning on my abilities, was after really turning them on. I started having some ability when I was 18, 19, and that was actually around the time that I went to Salem. But really about, gosh, it's been 7 years ago that I had my first Reiki attunement with Brenda. And she could have sworn that I had these medium abilities as opposed to...
I thought she was already using them.
Small or large, but my medium abilities. But they were kind of just lying dormant, I guess. And so then they became activated through this Reiki attunement. But then what had happened is that because we were talking about the caudate nucleus earlier, about how it takes care of fear and how that will create your reality if you haven't healed that fear. And that's what I was really interfacing these readings was with a sense of fear. And now that time has passed, yes, you can call on the angels, and you know that you don't have to believe that once you do all the healing and that kind of thing, and breathe and trust in spirit, as Scott was reading from the Enchanted Map cards.
Right.
By Colette Baron.
Colette Baron Reed.
Not Colin.
Baron Reed. No, that wasn't
Colette.
Colette.
Yes.
We'll rewind that.
Okay.
You can hear it.
The YouTube tells all. So anyway, we're having some fun. But that you can trust in spirit to guide the process. And so the more that you're tapping into these abilities, it's important to remember to heal along the way so that you could just have healthier experiences.
And the reason why is there... Okay, why did I choose to want to be on Sepia Radio? Well, Mark asked, but the real question is that what I found on Sepia Radio is there is a diversity of people, different opinions, belief systems, all coming together. It's like a box of crayons. We're all different colors, and we all stand for something. And we can all be together and be okay and support one another. Even if we don't all agree, we could all agree, but it is all of these being able to fine-tune.
Because there's so many different voices for what our experience here is on the planet.
And a lot of times people only focus through the fear. Like, I don't know if you ever watched the movie or the TV show, The Supernaturals. And,
I have.
And I love that show. We bought all the DVDs, we watched them all. And what was very interesting is that I'm a person that hates anything to do with horror.
Scary things.
Yes,
right.
But with this one, I'm like, oh my God, I totally could heal that. Oh, we could totally take care of that. And it was just a different form of way of looking at it. You don't have to program yourself only to see the negative vibration or the lower vibration. And that part is real, but also is another part, because it all depends on where your mind is. You are taking off and learning, and it's hard to do by yourself. I did it by myself for the longest time, and I felt alone, and I'm like, holy crap, I'm turning on my abilities back on again, and who in the heck am I supposed to talk to? So I ended up getting some books and did some reading, but I needed human contact. And so now I've gotten to the point where some of the things that I used to be so afraid of telling people is now it's just a walk in the park. I'm used to talking about the afterlife. I'm used to talking about all of these things. And I'm so comfortable because everybody on this radio station has their way of looking at it, but they don't sit there and condemn like you would get from other places.
You don't get judgment.
This is how I feel.
And so you're not alone, and we're telling you to use a healing tool, get the golden lasso, find people. because they're there. It's just a lot of times you don't think that they are. And I will tell you, I'm so tired of doing it alone. You can, go far. And I was teaching classes on fine tuning because it's so important to understand what your tell sign is. It's so important to start trusting yourself. And the hardest part is when you're around people that are judgmental, immediately you go into a state where you don't trust yourself. Because you remember, the main thing is to consider the source. When these people show up, it's because we're still fearful of how we used to be condemned. But at the same time, when we create closure, we'll stop attracting them in our world. And then you'll find people that would, oh my God, yeah, I totally believe that. Well, here's another way I look at it. And then you get to grow. You get to use brainstorming. You get to make known the unknown. And there's a big, huge part of how it's very important to be you. So, back in the old days, people used to throw people into the scary farms.
The scary farms. I used to go to Not Scary Farm in LA.
Yeah,
it's a Halloween thing.
Knott's
Berry Farm becomes Not Scary Farm for Halloween.
Like the sanitariums?
No, the sanitariums where they do shock therapy. Yes,
asylums.
Yes.
And they would do shock therapy because people have
the funny
abilities.
farm that's scary is the asylum. I get it.
Yeah.
Those medications actually turn people's
That's
abilities
so
off.
affirming.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you because she's laughing. But do say that
But
again.
medication does what?
Sometimes those medications, like Alderol and stuff, some people experience lessened ability to tune in.
Yes, and one of the things is even bacon, certain pig meat, depends on where it is, can affect the pineal gland, which is part of the opening of the door to the other side. So if you don't, so yes, I believe medication was designed to shut all that down. But we are awakening, and we're like becoming the norm instead of the instead of the people that are rejected. That people are waking up. So embrace who you are, and you were born to stand out. And what is that? People laugh because I'm different. Well, I laugh because you're all normal, or all the same.
Right. And what's interesting is my dad he is hilarious. He always would say that normal is a moving target. So he's just like, he embraces the fact that he just does not fit in, right? And so and what's interesting when he said normal is a moving target, and he was an English major and he went to the Illinois Institute of Technology, so he's really smart. He just, society's blah-blah-blah to him. But normal is, the dictionary definition basically says that it's an agreed upon set of norms. So as society is shifting and growing and moving forward, those norms are going with the group. So yes, he goes, normal's a moving target. Where is it today?
Makes sense. Exactly, it makes sense. I like how you put it that way. One day I'm going to meet your father.
Yeah.
So just allow yourself to, like we say, go to mwreveal.com. There's healing tools
I'll put
on
the
the
link
left.
in again.
And when you get into the healing tools, look at some of them. The meridian tapping, the golden lasso. And for you, you might want to also look at thought management, because if you're still attracting people that are making you feel like you have to doubt yourself.
Any form of less than.
Yes, any form of less than, or you over your shoulder, you think what other people think, oh my God, they're going to think I'm stupid. Oh yeah, it reminds me of that person that told me that last week. And the thought management is a very interesting tool that will help take care of those extra thoughts you don't need, so that you can actually learn to become more authentic with yourself. Does this make sense?
I think it's the main reason why people draw the wrong people to them. It seems like they're drawn to them.
Exactly, because you are doing the attraction factor. Because it's the programs that are already inside. It's the caudate nucleus that holds all the fear, and that creates a vibration that says conflict, towards and away from, and literally, without realizing it, you attract those kind of people. Like, before I met my husband here, my attraction factor was that I would draw men into my world that were pretty much alcoholics, that only thought about themselves, that loved sports, hard workers. I mean, there was a lot of great qualities, but then there was a lot of qualities that were just, I'm in pain all the time, shut up. And
Wow.
I would never get somebody that was nice to me. And I even married one that he was decent in the beginning, and then he had a hardship, and then he just started taking it out on me. And I said, that's it, I'm done. And so then when I said to Spirit, I said, all right, I'm not going to date or marry another guy. That's it. And then Spirit says, all right, you know. I said, okay, I'm ready to date now. But and the next thing I know, I have 12 guys lined up, that not in a row, but not at the same time, I should say. But over the period of a couple years, oh, shut up. It's just in a couple years that I saw, and by the end of that, Spirit says, what was the common thread? What was the common theme? And I realized
Number two.
is that I could not be me. I had to put up with people, and I had to cut myself up and say, you know what, I can't be this type of woman because they don't like it. And I said, well, I don't want to do that. So I used some healing tools, and then I said, all right, I'm ready to get married. And 2 weeks later, I get somebody that's 100% different than what I was attracting. Now, you have to remember, I had a pathway for hell, but I didn't have a pathway for this. And so when he was in my space, I'm like, okay, God, why did you choose him? I'm not getting it. It's like I'm having a duh moment.
F5.
Yeah, refresh me. And finally, after being together many hours, I said, that's it. You tell me right now, why did you choose Scott to be my husband? And then all of a sudden, I looked over at him, and he had this halo above his head. And number one, he let me be me. He was
To me,
funny.
it feels like you are a very good match, good pair.
Yeah, we're only getting stronger and better.
That's right.
I mean, he liked comic books. These other guys didn't. He liked to play games. Other guys didn't. They liked to torture me, but he liked to sit down and play games, card games, board games, and spend time with me. We did things together. He let me be me, develop myself, and, you know, it was, wow, that's something I never had. It took me a while to realize that I can have this goodness. So changing the attracting factor is really important. And the only way that I found successfully to do it quickly and healthily is to use healing tools to tap it out. So like I said, you just, when you feel anything negative, go heal it. Go watch the meridian tapping, tap it out, get rid of it. And then you're going to start attracting people that are supposed to be in your world to give you joy, to allow you to be joy, to allow you to be you.
Wow.
Because we've lived it. Jen's living it, Scott's living it, and I teach class, Empowerment Through Enlightenment, and soon I'll have it online. And
They're living it.
all they're doing is living it. They're all, well, this whole batch has grown up now and moved away, you know, but I still have the classes, and I know a new batch is coming in. So people are doing this, becoming a spiritual human. It doesn't have anything to do with religion. It has to do with awakening.
All they're doing is living
Oh,
it.
I have
They're
no
all-
idea what just
well,
happened.
This whole batch
Just
is
one
grown up
second.
now, moved away.
Somehow it refreshed.
Oh,
I guess. That's
that's
interesting.
weird. We still have the.
Yep.
I think he's still there. Are you still there?
Oh yeah, just
Yep.
you,
I have no
you
idea.
are just so neat to listen to.
Oh, well,
Oh,
wonderful.
thank you.
Well,
And
tell
thank you
everybody.
for calling in.
And anytime you ever want a general reading, which is what I'm going to give you right now, and the general reading is the thing that your soul wants, okay? It's the one thing
Okay.
that your soul wants to hear, and wants you to hear, because we're soul coaches, we read soul language, and we teach people how to read the soul, but we're going to help you out. Oops, I need those papers. All right.
So, explain
Well-
what you're doing. You're using your pendulum over your. What sheet do you call that?
Yeah, it's my sheet. If you watch the
Hope
YouTube,
therapy.
if you watch the YouTube channel that we have of,
Which I put up there, and I'll put the links again for.
then you
if
get to
want
watch what we're doing. And I have my own sheets that I've made, and I'm
That's
working
Hope
with.
Therapy.
This is Hope Therapy. I'm working through the 12 meridians. Well, actually, the 14 meridians. And they got special things that is written on this piece of paper. So, literally, the first thing is that, wow, that's weird. The first thing I kept hearing is to be dishonored is to just dismember. I have no idea what that means.
Zombie.
Stop it. Okay, so what? Okay, I gotta find out more what they're talking about, because they're pointing to dishonor.
Well, the person doesn't feel whole.
Okay. Yes. Now I'm trying. The question I'm asking the soul is, does this person feel dishonored? No, but they don't feel whole. And do you feel that other people are dishonoring you? No. This is part of the ancient tribe. Okay, so now what we're doing is we're looking at the coding. This is actual coding that you carried forward. Yes, that's it. Dishonored. So what you're living out now, and you need to disrupt, would be how.
So yeah, this is the ancient, the bard. This is the old way that the inability to have your music, the inability to tell your story, the inability to do those things needs to be disrupted.
And she drew those cards as I was doing my thing, so that's cool. So the thing is that you need to disrupt the pattern. Yes, it happened, but it can be resolved now. How do we want to put it? Because right now my throat's starting to go away. Or my voice.
So now the raven comes up, which is about magic, coincidence, and synchronicity. And so this has been part of your story, and once that's disrupted, then you can call or tap into and notice that yes, life is synchronicity.
One of the things that you're going to be helping to do with your ancestry is that you're going to be healing the wounds. You know, the wounds, the hurts, the things that had happened to them. And according to, and I feel like it's the woman that comes to your dreams, they're saying that they want you to not carry the torch forward, but, that's the pain and the suffering, but to resolve it. So that you then can get information and actually pass on the beauty and the knowledge. And I think that's probably when the awakening will start to happen for you. Because we're not saying to awaken so that you can protest and fight. That's already been history. You resolve that need. Like I in my one past life, I was a medicine woman. Surprise. And the thing is I had to endure and watch white man come and destroy my tribe.
Wow.
And I had no choice because I psychically saw this. I already knew. And I had to prepare the people in a certain way without frightening them. But I already knew that we were going to be destroyed. And with that information, it's like I didn't like to get that information in this lifetime, but as a kid I did, and I'm not happy with it, but that's why I shut down my abilities. But as the medicine woman in this lifetime, I don't have to carry that anger towards white man. I don't, and any man particularly, but it's the energy of that hatred that had to be resolved, that authority that somebody says that they can put upon me when I know that I rightfully have my own stuff. So I had to resolve that anger, the frustration, the trauma and drama. I actually had to close it, which is what I call similarly to when you got a kitchen counter and you're cooking. And you cut up the meat, and there's blood all over, and then you got flour, and then you got vegetables, and then you got the juice, you got everything. Yes, cooking happened. When you wipe it clean, so the countertop is clean, it's like using a healing tool, okay? You can't, you know it happened, but you're resolving it, you're filing it away, and you don't have to keep repeating it. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so that's part of one of the things you're going to be doing is resolving some of those things. But you do have a gift that you're going to be knowledge of awakening and sharing. And all I can tell you is smell the cinnamon bark and whatever else you may be instructed to do. And understand that when you have fear that they're telling you something bad to do, that's not usually them. It'll be your fear trying to trick you. In that case, tap it out. Because a lot of people are saying, well, what if they tell me to do something bad? Well, don't listen to it. Just tap it out. Disconnect, recenter, because you're filtering it through your caudus nucleus, that fear part of your brain. Literally, you're clearing up the channel by tapping and healing the fear. You then make a clearer channel so you can have the higher vibration to the ones that you want to communicate with. Okay?
I have something nice to share about this person too that you might be pretty neat.
Okay.
Ready?
Yes.
It was in a dream about a year and a half ago. I was in this swimming pool area of the palace, and the landscaping, it was a city with a hill next to it along the side of the sea. And when I got out of school, I talked to this girl for a couple minutes, this older woman, like I mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
And I walked into the house. On the left side, there was a kitchen, but there's cooking to entertain the guests, pool parties.
Okay.
And the right entryway to the palace, in the hallway of the hook, I had put on this garment. It felt like it was meant for me. It was maroon like velvet, and it had the coat of arms of the family on it.
Cool.
And I'd never seen this coat of arms before.
Ah.
Well, that is good. You know, you can go online and actually look up different quotes of arms. I think that's how my husband did it. But we are back. Okay, so we want to say thank you to Chris for participating. And it's love when we can communicate with others. And communicating with others, we know somebody else on Sepia that talks and communicates. And what is the name of the show?
Kiss Me, I'm Psychic, and that's Tuesday evenings from 6 to 8
Yes.
on Sepia Radio. And we just want to say what a great program and listen when you can.
Yes, and anyways, we want to help promote one another so that we all can start telling people, because there's a lot of people out there that want to hear about other topics and other psychics, and you know, and well, guess what? There's a lot of us out there, and let's all work together. So again, on Tuesdays from 6 to 8, Kiss Me, I'm Psychic. Alrighty.
And we're back.
Yes. Yes, that was
We're
I
not
get
just
it.
back, we're still here.
Alright, we got it. Okay, so a lot of wonderful stuff had come out of the conversation with Chris, and it's so important to understand when you are in a healing. No, that did it again. Doggone it, there's that energy again.
Thing just walked through,
Okay, now I have to figure what that is.
because my head's all tingling now.
And it's making me not be able to focus on one particular thing.
Hello!
Alright, freeze frame, yeah, I got that. My brain's going, what? So I'm going to do my best to work through this. Did we tell him to heal anything in particular?
I don't think
We
so.
gave him a
He was
Smith
The
site,
healing tools and that kind of thing,
and as he develops, get rid of the
any
fear.
doubt or anxiety,
Use the meridian tapping.
right?
Okay, so that's
Yep.
the way we're going to attempt. Plus the golden lasso and the thought management. So yeah, I guess we did. It wasn't something very, we always tell you like specifically. Again, a lot of people don't realize that we are, psychics and mediums. So, you know what it is? It's the caller's energy that we just had, because when he wanted to speak to us, I got that flash, and he just said there was something else that had just happened. So that's the disruption. So apparently I'm in tuned. We're all in tuned with him at this point, and it could be the ancestry that is telling me. Yes, that's it. Mine is, yes. Okay, like I said, we're going to talk about cancer just a little bit more. And it doesn't have to be a 3-letter deadly word or the zodiac sign. My mother got so tired of the traumas and the dramas in life, and she was so young. She died. She was born in, you're going to help me do math,
34, did you say?
35.
1935, okay.
And she died in 92.
92, so she's 57.
Which is way too young.
20 years ago.
No, are you sure she's 57?
You told me she's 57.
I didn't tell him he was 57. He added up.
35 and 57.
But yeah, it was
add up
92.
to-
And she died in 92. Okay, but anyways, one of the things is that life was going good, things were seemed better, but we didn't have the processing process. We didn't have that ability to process the lives or the hells of life. We didn't have that, and what happened was my mother was just tired. She was a hard worker, and they gave her a letter that says, your 4-year review or your 3rd review or whatever it was that said that if you don't have cancer, then we're going to take you off of disability, and, you know, yada, yada, yada. And my mother's like going, oh my God. It's like put her in a shock. She'd have to go out and work again. and she was already, you know, pushing up to 60 or whatever, and so she got tired. And literally, there was this fear factor on her face, which then produced this woman to come in our house and start yelling at me about the herbs that I was using to take care of my mother. I'm cooking all healthy food, non-processed food, using herbs, and literally she was just being angry, and we lived in a tiny trailer, and the woman yelled at me and says, well, she'll be dead in 30 days, she ain't gonna live past 30 days, whatever, and my mother heard her, and any type of happiness that I had helped my mother to be had quickly vanished to be very scary, upset, depressed, all of it, all the emotions screwed up, and this is the interesting part, she was healing, they didn't find any cancer, and then after she got that letter, it wasn't shortly after that her growth on her chin, because she had lung cancer, but then it went right to her chin, and it just came on rapid. We had gone to get the chemotherapy, and it accelerated it so fast that the tiny little pimple turned into a great big mass, leaking seepage, and it was like, holy crap. And so it was such a short time from that letter. What am I blaming? Nothing. Her soul said, this is her exit point, this is how she's going to leave, she's tired, this is going to be some physical reasons, the cancer was, we're going to have to set up the law of attraction to bring things into place so it'll trigger certain events, so that certain things can happen, so it helps her to exit. And I'm like, seriously, you know, I don't want that. How old was I then? 20...
So 30 years ago, he was
24.
92, right?
You were 24,
20 years ago?
25. 20 years ago.
So
Yeah.
25.
She'd be 77 if she were alive now.
And I had wrapped my mind around this because I had already started to talk to the dead to some degree. I had used synchronicity, started learning about electromagnetic body. And once I understood spiritually what was happening, to tell people that is really hard because some people just assume that it's a physical disease, which it is, and that it's something physical that you ate or something physical that you've done, or it's psychosomatic, it's all in your head. And
Or it's genetic.
it's genetic, and what it is all those factors have to play a part because that's how we play in reality. But when it comes down to who she was as a soul, is that she had to unlearn certain things and then learn things, and her soul just said, you know what, I'm tired of this. I don't want to work on this issues anymore. So guess what? You know, I'm checking out. So was she a quitter? No. There are points in time when we decide when we're ready to leave, and that's what happened. So cancer, like I said, had always shown up to me as the definition of conflict. And in this big book of everything that we have, this is Messages from the Body by Michael J. Lincoln. There's a whole bunch of paragraphs that talk about cancer. So we're going to do what we can so that you can understand why we're reading this is to help you find the familiarity. If it triggers, then by all means, start healing. When I look at anything that this represents life as, and it shows me that oh my God, I agree with that, then you are losing personal life force power, and your soul wants you just to detach by resolving the issue so you can reclaim your life force, so you can create better and happier and healthier. Okay, so I'm going to have Jen read a little bit, and then I'm going to interrupt where I'm supposed to.
So just start here.
Yeah, just start there.
Potency, lessness, rage.
Potency lessons?
Lessness.
Lessness.
Potency, lessness,
Okay,
rage.
alright.
So they don't have their potency isn't there.
Okay,
And they're
so
mad.
they lost their fight.
Right, and they're mad about it. They
Uh-huh.
feel overwhelmed and devastated with a sense of intense emptiness in their life. They have been many years of inner conflict, guilt, hurt, grief, despair, resentment, confusion, and or tension surrounding their deepest personal issues. It is connected with feelings of hopelessness, inadequacy, helplessness, and self-rejection. They see no possibility of relevance or effectiveness from the cosmic realm.
Yes, and I will tell you, most cancer patients that I have talked to or been with, their last ditch effort is to find hope. And then when you give them hope, there's a part of them that's so tired, they're like, screw that, I know it ain't gonna work, and then literally lose hope that's been staring them in the face. But hope is where you can actually grab the light and then start fighting for your life. But in this case, sometimes when you are completely hopeless, and hope is the only way to actually turn on the light of love, faith, and to get you and pull you and rise yourself to the top. I know I'm not going to say it right, but did you look at my Facebook page today about how hope, well, why don't you pull it up real quick and then we'll talk about it. The guy, the gentleman, I think his name was Nick, that was born with no arms or no legs.
Oh yeah, that guy.
And he has wrote a book, and he got married, and life has been good. He swims, he does everything. But he has a quote, and I loved it, that is underneath the picture that I posted. But it was very important because I'm all about hope. My name of my business is Giving Hope. My store is called Giving Hope. And I like anything to do with hope because I know hope is what helped me start to thrive instead of just fade away. And she will get there in just a second. We do have our personal fan pages as well. And I'm not sure what you're doing. That's wrong Brenda. I've got two personal profiles and fan pages, and actually 3. Okay, so waiting for this internet to work. So cancer is that great conflict. You want to move towards something, but then you don't have the strength to do it anymore. You literally lose the strength. And his last name, I'm going to have Jen say it because she's really good. She took school lessons for it. Say it.
I'm going to say his name is Nick Vujicic.
It's Vujicic.
Yeah.
But anyways, his little thing says, I was never crippled until I lost hope. And his little phrase there, it says, hope is a catalyst. It can even move obstacles that seem immovable. When you keep pushing, refusing to give up, you create momentum. Hope creates opportunities you never would have anticipated. Hopeful people are drawn to you, doors open, and paths are cleared. And this is coming from a man that has no arms or legs. And as like he says, I got this little chicken wing at the bottom that he can answer phones, he helps himself up, he's an amazing man, he's a motivational speaker. And sometimes we have to look towards others that have rised above, because sometimes we need that catalog of life, because when life seems to be throwing us a curveball, or in this case we projected it out so that we can experience the reaction and resolve it, you know, we get caught up into it, and we need the catalog of life that actually will help you see some of the hope.
So the question, Chris, is do cancer survivors also at the end see their loved ones that are already on the other side? What's interesting, I'm ordained clergy also, and part of my training was, it's called clinical pastoral education. And so it's like training to become a hospital chaplain or prison chaplain or that kind of thing. And so visiting, and so part of our role was being present when people were dying, they were passing on. We would get called in, and we're there to specifically, if there's any kind of spiritual or religious needs that the family has, we're there to facilitate that happening, but we're also there to provide comfort. So being present when people are crossing over, there were some people who were open to the idea of me talking to them about their loved ones, and they would want to know what was going to comfort their relatives. And sometimes it was saying, hey, if you know that your relatives are here, you're open to that idea, why don't you call on them to help your family member cross over, to walk over to the other side. And so it was, those were special moments, but not everybody was open to that idea, but I believe that that's what happens. And it's interesting, there's actually a palpable sensation that happens in the room when somebody is actively crossing over. The energy changes. There is a sacredness in that space that is just beyond any kind of explanation.
Yes, and it depends. What's interesting about most people, it's their belief systems that will create their heaven and their hells, or what does the afterlife look like. A lot of people, right towards the end, that window will open, and they will see loved ones. They will find that familiarity so that they don't have to be afraid of letting the body go. And the process of why a lot of people are afraid to die is because the body's knee-jerk reaction or the survival mechanism of instinct will kick in. It's like when you're in a room full of smoke, your body immediately says, oh my gosh, we don't want to shut down. So then it instinctively does its best to get you out of the space, to breathe, to cough, to change. And it's that scary part, because the interesting thing is when I was choking on basically nothing and I found out that's what they call asthma, I was down for the count. I had grabbed the telephone, I put 9-1, fell, and then all of a sudden they said just let go. Now I astral projected above my body, watched it jerk around, and then, but when I consciously just let the muscles relax and just let go to die, if that's what I was going to do, I had gone into a black space. I wasn't feeling anything physical, and the point is that I felt the flow of just letting it go, no longer fighting it. We didn't need to, and that instinct had fallen away. Now, I had somebody there present. Did I see a loved one? I felt the presence, but basically they were saying, not time! Stuff me back into the body, saying, get back in there, you got work to do. But I have watched people to define how they believe they're going to go to hell, and this is what creates all the many mansions that you have when you cross over. And it is the essence of whether you're awakening or not. Some people go through it so wonderfully that they pass over immediately. Some people are in a waiting room. Some people are already over there, but they don't realize it, and they think they're in hell.
It's like the Beetlejuice waiting room, the movie Beetlejuice, and they're in the waiting room.
You know, but it depends on how you look at it. Now, also with Swedenborg, there was that movie, What Dreams May Come, with Robin Williams.
And Cuba Gooding Jr.
And the wife was so depressed she had killed herself, and his goal was to go find her.
Yes.
When he died,
Right.
he says, well,
He died first, and the
he died first?
spoiler alert.
Sorry. Yeah, okay, go, yeah.
Yeah, because he was
I
in
forgot
a,
about that,
'cause he was in
yes.
a car accident, and then he
That's
found,
right.
and then he
Been so
found
long.
out that the wife died by killing herself.
Well, where is she? How come she's not with me?
Right.
And she had, and it was not just the act of killing herself, but it was the act of where her consciousness was, which was...
Because she was already lost, and he...
Yeah,
because
lost,
he could
depressed,
view
stuck in the
what
feeling.
was going on. Yeah, I mean, she was
When he
already
went
lost.
over there to get her, he went through all of these different obstacles, and every person that was his guide,
Said,
he
"No, you
realized,
should-"
no, some of them he realized, oh my God, spoiler alert, your family.
Right, yep.
And there just happened to show up differently to him, and then when he discovered it, is like, oh my God, you're here. And he goes, why are the colors so vibrant? Well, it's because how you interpret it. He went to go see her, and he's in that state of that disenchanted, that space that is so glooming, and he's quickly trying everything he can to get her attention, and wake up, come on, come with me. And he slowly started to fall victimized to that energy field of, and into that fate of losing who you are. And
She ended up shifting her reality or her state of being, because in my tradition, heaven and hell are states of being. They're
Yes.
they're just not an eternal destination or a reward and punishment system. But because she shifted her state of being to assist him, she got into that state, then woke up together because that shift helped him.
exactly, and so then they got to go from that particular part and create more heaven, more talking about cancer and stuff. And it doesn't have to be fearful. It's agreed upon conflict of how we don't know how to resolve something, so it becomes a mass consciousness. This is why some people, it's just easier to check out in that form. It's a nasty way to check out to some degree. They have harmonized attitude towards parts of themselves that they don't want to deal with. Well, I think that's what we talked about earlier. They are consciously very loving, supportive, and kind. And yes, most all these people that have cancer are, but they repress their personal feelings in a long-suffering, low self-esteem pattern. Yes, the one particular woman that I just had helped, she has had cancer over and over, and they told her, they've done several operations, and finally they said, you know what, your bowel is leaking, just start getting ready to prepare to die, blah, blah, blah. And so finally she said, she came to me, and I said, well, it's not a toe tag they're reading. Don't use the power of suggestion. Let's look at why. So I started looking at the projections of why this was happening, and she began to heal. And as she did, it's been how many years now, Jen, since she's
gosh.
That was when I had the building over there.
6 years ago.
That's when I had the building over there.
Yeah.
And she started to see me. It was right.
2005, we had the
Yeah.
building.
So that was 6 or 7 years ago.
So
And she's
2005
doing
to
good.
6.
There's nothing there. She even don't even have diabetes anymore. She's, and did I cure her cancer? No. She took upon herself that consciousness of understanding why her reality was happening the way it was, and she had a lot of resolving of an intense traumas and dramas she had, and by taking and healing and removing the intensity of whatever negativity it was off these particular subjects, she literally gained back more joy, which her body then stopped producing all of these acid chemical peptides, and then the body to break down. Her body started to repair itself, because that innate healing is the ability to repair itself. So anyways, a little bit further, plus her self-esteem went up too. Incredibly went up. They are conservative, controller, and feeling avoider, denier, service alcoholic who is suffering with a deep emotional disappointment while being systematically self-sacrificing. It's always following the right rule. You have to do it the right way. You have to do it this way. My mother was a hard worker. She always gave like 200%. And what happened? She sacrificed herself, but she did the right thing, but it actually depleted her and caused her just to fall apart. They give too much. Yes, all the time. I've watched most people that have cancer just give too much. They're so tired. They don't take care of themselves. And a lot of times they have taken care of themselves to the point where they can't even take care of themselves. This reminds me when I was pregnant, or I gave birth to 2 kids, and I basically cut my long hair off because I didn't have time to comb it. I stopped brushing my teeth. I didn't have time to brush my, I didn't even have time to take a shower. I forgot even to take care of me, because you become their life. And I literally was falling apart because I had forgot about me. Then I had to start finding my identity again, and I'm like, oh my God, who cut this hair? Why aren't you taking care of yourself? And I realized I don't need to sacrifice myself. I didn't know how to call in at the time to help me raise my children, to help me do what I needed to do. I was only following in the pattern of my genetics that said you self-sacrifice, you give, you work hard, you follow all the right rules. Well, I changed a lot of those rules. I broke a lot of those rules, and I said I'm done abusing myself. Just like I was done having be abused in any form, I had to go in and stop abusing myself, especially the denigration part. So let's see what else they are. They give too much and they don't take care of themselves as they play out the Rock of Gibraltar pattern that got started as they became the family host in their dysfunctional family. What does that mean? They become the family host.
Host.
H-O-I-S-T.
Hoist. They have to
lift it up.
they have to lift it up. They have to hold up the family.
The dysfunctional
The
family.
dysfunctional family.
Now, my mother didn't really have a dysfunctional family, but she did have to hold it up because of where she was in the line of the kids. And that was during the Depression time, and you're growing, and in the family that she had to be the one to lift up all the kids and to rise above everything. It gets very tiring. They carry all the problems and never complain. My mother had become a complainer later. It got to her so much, it just became a natural pattern. Plus, that was the natural pattern of the way we grew up. This is how people talk, no matter who came in our view. And if you were happy, then what the hell's wrong with you? We don't talk like that. I remember one time I had put up a sign that said, it was by Mahatma Gandhi, be the change you want to
See in the world.
yeah, be the change you want to see in the world. And my family members saw that sign and thought, well, that's just stupid. What the heck does that mean? And they were just like cutting it down. And even though I tried to explain it, I was one that looked like an idiot. And I said, oh, how I'm so glad I do not live amongst all that thinking anymore. Because it was literally feeling like eating me alive. They seek to, I gotta believe it, believing they are deserve this fate of hell that comes on them. They believe they deserve it. They seek to ignore their inner pain by attending continuously to others' needs. In effect, they don't want to live anymore, and they are more manifesting a death wish. They are the product of rejecting yet explository dysfunctional family, and in some cases, it could be just the genetic line that brings that through, who made them feel responsible for all that went wrong in the family. We're very good at blaming ourselves when somebody we love does not give it in return. What did I do wrong? It's got to be my fault. And we jump to those conclusions, and so we blame ourselves immediately.
Exactly, there's something wrong with me.
Yeah.
Whatever the
Well,
situation
when
is.
you and your ex started to break apart, there was a part of you that probably started to question, what did I do wrong? Or he was questioning, what are you doing wrong?
Yes, and because I'm a great projector of my reality, I would hear his voice say my thinking of, what are you doing wrong?
Yep, and her RTJP, that's what she kept doing.
Exactly.
Even if he may never have voiced it.
Right.
Like I said, there's several other ones like fertility, what's that say?
Futility
Feelings.
Those are different than fertility
I
feelings.
know, so I thought I knew it. They have very strong feelings of failure
Slight
and
difference.
incompetence, with
Yes.
little sense of self-accomplishment. And there's more with that one. Hot hates. They carry deep-seated hatred of the world around them and of people in it. And this is people that are just judging and like, what the fuck, why are you doing that? You know, God, why do you have to do that? You know, that's just stupid. That's not the right way. You know, my mother was like, trying to raise us kids, and she's like, "Oh my God, what are you?" She didn't want to call us stupid, but good, you could see.
You could feel
in her.
You could feel it. You knew it.
You knew it, yeah. Okay, and a lot of it was projected at her too. Loveaholics. They're ambivalent love seekers who never really is able to connect or to let love in. They are suffering from a deep loneliness, which, however, they repress for fear of going down the tubes. And repressed emotions do so much damage. Another one is seething volcano. They are sitting on a volcano. They are sitting on a lot of fumulating fury, and they have made a lifestyle of acting on these feelings. They are a long suffer victim. A cruel world, you know. Here, you say that word.
Pseudo-saintly sufferer.
Or an avenging angel who is just giving people what they deserve because they have asked for it. You know,
I'm the karma police. Guess what? You're stupid. Boof.
Guess what? Karma missed you, but I won't.
Oh, I'll kick you out of your ass.
But yeah, there's a lot of reasons, but there's
Karma
always a story behind why you become sick. And you don't have to keep putting your finger on it out here. Literally, what is the familiar feelings that feels like you're depleted? Tap it out. You feel drained? Tap it out. You feel aggravation? Tap it out. You feel like you can't feel anymore? Tap it out. You feel nothing? Tap it out. Literally, you have the tools with you, and you can go to mwreveal.com, and you can go to the healing tools and look at some of them list. We got so many more we need to put up, and there's so many wonderful healers and teachers in this world that it's finally coming to the surface. I mean, they've been started 20, 30 years ago, and it's finally coming to the surface. It's finally trickling down in this particular area.
Right, everybody was like, oh, are you in therapy? Now it's kind of like, oh, you go to a healer?
Yeah, I mean, in California, it was no big deal. You weren't seeing a therapist? What the hell's wrong with you? You go over here, I'm seeing a therapist. What the hell's wrong with you? It's like, you know, damned if you do and damned if you don't. But if you want to heal yourself, the inner world creates the outer world. And if you understand your inner world of knowing, you can do a heck of a great job by allowing yourself to say, oh, yeah, this is what I feel. It's taken away my life force power. I'm going to tap it out, bring it down to zero, and just be done with it. Because you literally can actually resolve your issues. Okay, so we got a few.
Completion.
Yep.
Just
All right.
about
We want to
15
say
seconds left. So
thank you, and appreciate it. We're going to be here on Friday from 2 to 4 p.m.
Eastern
hope-
time in the
Eastern
afternoon.
Standard, and hope to see you soon. So, anyways, stay blessed and peace out.